Hey YouTube, I found that cave from Luna's map right on Candlemere Island, and I think it's time to explore and find out what happened to the gnomes in the first world. I have a feeling things are going to get sad, but we'll see. Let's make sure our party is configured right. Blue paint. That won't help. We're bleaching on the inside, not the outside. If only Zay made it. She'll get us back home. She will. Did you see that? Someone wrote the end on one of the walls near the entrance, in blue paint. No, this is not the end. We have to believe. We will open this door. We shouldn't have agreed to this game. Now we'll never be able to return. Ever.
Patience.
Seems... I'm gonna cast See Invisibility on myself.
So, any brilliant ideas?
Okay. Zay's ghost. A flickering shadow stands before you, trembling and chanting something indistinct. In its silhouette, you barely recognize the figure of a gnome girl dressed in rags. No, we need to try again. The door will open. I promised them. I promised. Who are you, ghost? I promised them to open this door. To return everyone home. Bursting into a long and bleak laugh, the ghost makes a move as if she wants to run away, but then freezes and gives you an eerily attentive look. Who am I? I'm Zay, a wizard. I'm the one who brought everyone here, this place. Once the Lantern King himself opened a gate from his dominion to Galarion here. He abandoned this road, but I thought I could open the portal again, or ask for help from an eldest. Return all of us home. I was wrong. The door didn't open. We all lost color, one by one. So you're one of the gnomes from the first world? What happened to you? Many long lives I traveled, I created. I danced upon the edge of the abyss and fell into the clouds. I died to be born again, with none of my strength and skills, but with all the memories of the wonders I'd seen. But eternity can become tedious, even for a soul that's forever young. Many older gnomes suffered it even before we knew what the bleaching was. Sooner or later, there's not enough novelty anymore, so we all grew fascinated with a new game, death. One of the eldest created it. Of course, he was just borrowing it based on his observations of the true gods. He drew a string from the river of souls and created his own little circles of births, deaths, and judgments, imitating the almighty Pharasma. He judged the souls that he owned and determined their further paths. It was so new, so exciting. Many gnomes volunteered. If not us, then who? But those who take from the goddess of death must be ready for the consequences. The Lady of Graves brought her wrath upon this creative eldest. He was stripped of his power and forever doomed to serve in her courts. And we gnomes, we were torn from the first world and bound to the river of souls like all creatures of the material plane. Thereafter we lived like the rest, died like the rest, and learned all the pain of the bleaching. Our game had become our reality, and no longer could we tire of its fun and return to another one. But how? It's all so sad. My thoughts are scattered, crying all over. Lindsay not take much to squeak. Let go of me, you little animal. You call this punishment? You should see what Mother of Monsters does to wrongers. Off with their arms and legs. Head replace your hind. Foolish entertainment. Closure. Imminence. This is a story worth coming a long way for. I shall save it in my heart. Jublos looks at the ghost, shaken. It seems to be one of those rare moments that the gift of speech is lost to him. But this is not at all how I supposed it happened. Respected Zay, I understand your condition does not allow for long conversations, but perhaps you could tell me. Of course I could. I could do many things. I tried many ways to open the portal. Everything except a sacrifice. A little blood would come in handy.
Finish them quick.
That turned around quick. Let's have Jubilost Haste and Lindsay Good Hope.
We shall overcome. I find you dead.
Just two ghosts. The ghost freezes, holds herself by the shoulders, and sways back and forth, repeating over and over, I promised, I promised, I promised. That's a rather foolish performance, little ghost. You've staged a fine series of foolish performances. The playing the game of death, contacting an eldest not known for his mercy, trying to open a door that leads nowhere. But who are we addressing? Greetings, Titus. And of course, you, most persistent of researchers, we see you solved our riddle. Jubilost folds his hands on his chest. We did. I might still fail to understand why you sent us the long way around instead of just telling us everything from the beginning. Some truths must be discovered to be known, or seen with your own eyes. The host nods at the pile of gnome bones and the shivering ghost. Is there a way to change what happened and help the gnomes? If there is, we know nothing of it. The eldest can do many things, but as you know, it is not enough to confront a deity, especially one such as Pharasma. We have learned our lesson, and do not play with the toys of others. Does that mean this was all in vain? Of course not. The journey is often more important than the destination. Be satisfied with the secret you have won. The day I can simply be satisfied with something, I'll bleach. You say we learned our lesson, so you're also one of the eldest hosts? Oh, we're tired of answering this question, and the many others that follow it. Ask us again next time, especially since next time, for you, will be one of the first times for us. Is what Zay told us true? About the game of death and Pharasma's punishment? Yes. One of our eldest brothers thought he could steal from a deity, and the gnomes that answered his call thought they could play at death. Death decided otherwise. Why are you here? The right question at last. As I suspect you've realized, there's no way to save all the gnomes from the bleaching. You cannot return them to the First World and restore their connection to their homeland. And even if we're a sufficiently desperate and powerful creature ready to do it, their actions would not be looked on mercifully by the Lady of Graves. Though it cannot be done for all, it can still be done for one. We are ready to offer this gift as a token of our appreciation for your exciting adventure and your solution to the riddle. Do you hear, Sir Jubilost? You personally may become reconnected with the First World. You won't be entirely protected from death if you remain on Galarion, but you will be forever spared from the bleaching. Whenever you wish to visit the First World, which we are aware you desire passionately, then you'll be as immortal as any Fae. Jubilost fixes his glasses nervously. It's the only chink in his nonchalant facade. If this gift cannot help the whole gnome race, then I have no need of it. Of course, I'm not immune to vanity, but I've always been ready to share the burden of mortality with the others who bear it on their shoulders. I'll even keep wearing these stupid glasses. I'll survive without the immortality of the First World, and face the bleaching when it comes, as all gnomes have done before me. Well, this is a hard decision. But I mean, it's his decision. I'm glad we understand each other. Well, my decision isn't changing. I declined the gift at the eldest. We aren't easy to surprise, but you managed it. Very well, a rejection is a rejection. But gifts of the eldest are not so easy to withdraw from the world. They must find an owner somewhere, one way or another. So what should we do? To whom shall we grant what has been promised? Maybe Zay? That's a worthy idea. What do you say, host? Can you grant the ghost peace instead of giving me immortality and everything that goes along with it? 1,000-year-old insane ghosts again? Well, why not? But we will do much more than simply give her peace. You'd be surprised how little difference there is between nowhere and here and now. She will open her door just when she was always meant to. You have rejected the gift, Jubilos, but we will not leave you without any reward. We offer you a trifle, the chance to sometimes glimpse eternity in the corner of your eye, just as we do. Now you can remember the history of things. Those who wander searching for mysteries and ancient relics might find the skill useful. And now, farewell. When you finally succumb to the bleaching, you may remember this moment. I wonder what you'll think then. Only time knows. I can feel it again. The first world, our home. I don't know if I can save you from death, my friends, but at least we will die at home. Solving a 1,000-year-old mystery didn't just help Jubilost rid all the gnomes of bleaching, but our grumpy friend learned a lot, and even got a gift from a real eldest. Well, sometimes fate grants us such adventures, sad, inspiring, and educational all at once. It's pretty cool. I expected him to gain a huge bonus to Knowledge World. It looks like he got it to Knowledge Arcana. Plus 10. Perfect understanding. That's pretty sweet. Okay, now it's time to head into Pitex. Where should we head in? What was up with Lindsay's voice there? It's all echoey. I wonder why she's so good at perception. I mean, I gave her points in perception, but she's crazy good at it. I don't think I've actually claimed this. There we go. Let's check the kingdom cards before we head out of the kingdom. Okay, nothing I want to start right now. we go. Rushlight. Found it right away.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
Haven't saved for a bit, so we gotta go sweater.
Attack!
Not the light getting on fire first.
Can the light
That hurt? Good.
strike as one?
Be easier if you not fight back.
Do not hold back. Good strike wasted.
Okay. I wasn't expecting these guys to have +2 stuff. These guys were well armed.
Forwards.
Sorry about that. Just typing into Twitch. Alright, let's take a nap right before we get in there, just in case. Need everyone to be on top of their shit. Middle of nowhere. Oh. That seems cool. Just a door in the middle of a plane. Irovetti's got a noble figure, despite, by all accounts, being kind of a jackass. King Irovetti greets you personally. The bulky Kellet is broad-shouldered and looks to be somewhere around 50 years of age. His golden crown sits on long, greasy hair, above a heavily powdered face covered in bristle, and his expensive doublet is stained with oily spots. He guffaws and squeezes you in a bear hug, enveloping you in the mixed scent of sweat, wine, and expensive perfume.
Well, my crown-bearing brother, welcome to my home. Stuff yourself, drink, be my guest. You've proven yourself in combat as well as affairs of state. Let's see how you do at having fun.
Brother? What? Why? Ah, it's the crown. He's better.
What a gloomy, dark place this Rushlight tournament is. How can you not fall into despondence when you see all this ridiculous brightness, pride, vanity?
Forgive me for interfering into a conversation between illustrious persons. I just meant to inquire, how is my death sentence in absentia? When I inquired about it the last time, you still couldn't determine on the type of execution, honorable sir.
Aha! Sir Narthropple, of course, I remember. Well, today is a special day, and I think it will be acceptable to decorate it with a symbol of royal mercy. I officially grant you a pardon and cancel your sentence. But you know, between us, I decided on dismemberment.
You know, not too long ago you tried to kill me with a spy, Tartuccio.
Tartuccio? The short purple fellow? Ha! You're bearing a grudge about something that happened years ago. I assure you that escapade in Lady Germandi's mansion was entirely his own arrogation. I sent him to spy on her, not to start a battle or a fire, or a flood for that matter. Now don't be so spiteful. I have invited you here to put all those little grievances behind us, and to establish a firm and lasting peace between our kingdoms.
We'll pretend to be friends.
It's no good for kings and queens to stay in our palaces all the time. We need to meet, be friends with one another. It's all about keeping up neighborly relations, you know. So here's the plan. First, the Fishers' Triathlon. Then a boasting contest. And in the evening, the best part, a drunken melee. In the interim, there'll be a buffet, a fair, jugglers, acrobats, all the usual entertainment. And after the melee, I'll announce the winner. And then we'll have a festive banquet and a fireworks show. Then we just drink till morning or find a tent to crawl into. Your own or someone else's, depending on your luck. By the way, a knockout such as yourself will always be welcome in my tent. Just joking. Just a joke. Although I wouldn't mind baring my sword for such a luxurious sheath.
Oh shit. Oh, I didn't bring Valerie with me, but alright, he's hitting on Valerie. I accidentally skipped some dialogue. Oh, okay, it was here. Oh, and one more thing. I'll have to steal your sheath. This is a peaceful celebration, after all, and bullies will be kicked out immediately. Doesn't matter if it's a king who decided to kick up a row or just a shopkeeper. So behave yourself and don't start any fights while you're here. I'm not sure what to say to defend Valerie. But Valerie doesn't normally need defense. She also doesn't like people focusing on her beauty, so I'll just tell him to watch her tongue.
Aha! Of course! Such a pretty flower has already been picked, hasn't it? Who knows who will enjoy these plump buds in the future? Well, I have to go. If you need anything, talk to Nunzio Arpaia. He's my master of ceremonies, so he's responsible for organizing this mess. Have fun.
Maybe I should have brought Valerie with me, just to see her reaction to these things.
Without a doubt.
A young man staggers toward you, his expensive doublet wet with wine. As he passes, he brushes shoulders with you and starts yelling, his breath rank with alcohol. Watch yourself! Who do you think you are, you pig? You tramped on my foot and ruined my doublet. I'm gonna demand satisfaction. Why, is that Animate Belvar herself? And look, she's calling to you. What, really? Where? Oh, how do I look? Quickly now. Alright, phew, good. Animated my joy, I'll be right there. The gnome's yellow bloodshot eyes scan the faces in the room nervously. We're not really in a room. Noticing you, he grabs for a sealed sheath. What? Who are you? Oh, it's your Royal Highness? Forgive me, I didn't recognize you. An honor, truly. A huge honor. I'm Kareen Viril, a simple salesman. What is it you sell? What do you care? Fish and the like? Who might you recommend I meet here? No one. Everyone. How should I know? I'm just a simple salesman. Leave me be. Who are you? Oh, I told you already. I'm a simple salesman. Not rich, not noble. Why would a king concern himself with me? He wouldn't. Okay. Best wares on the river. Don't waste time asking where they're from. Get these deals while they last. I've only got 58,000 on me. And that's 370,000. I missed a zero. Anywhere near the money I need for this place. Natural armor +4 is cool. +4 deflection bonus to AC. +4 resistance bonus in all saving throws. So it's a +4 ring of protection, +4 cloak of resistance, +4 to persuasion skill checks. That's a big deal. +1 bonus to AC. Against evil creatures. I want it. Oh, the Cloak of Resistances go up to +6. This is only worth 2 gold? That's crazy. Ooh. First, second, and third level spells empowered and extended. For all spells all day? That's amazing. But this Absolver's Cloak is too good. I've got +30 to persuasion. That's gonna help me a lot. Now I can give this +4 ring of protection to someone else. It's a shame I can't give Ukbo any gear. wish I'd known how good the stuff was going to be when I got here. Oh, it applies a touch of chaos? Jesus, that's good. Here's a good Regungar weapon. That's finesse wielding. Probably just means it's basically a light weapon. Cast Bone Shaker. Interesting. Ooh, adamantine full plate. So many good things. Amid the tournament's frivolity, you notice that two men nearby are having a heated but hushed discussion. One wears flashy clothing fit for an entertainer, whereas the other wears the steel armor and red cloak of Pitax's guard. It's difficult to hear what they're saying. Let's see if we can eavesdrop. Although the two huddle near one another, their voices only occasionally rising above the ambient laughter and music, you're able to overhear the rest of their conversation. I don't know quite what you're up to, Eamar, but I know that, look, you're planning something dangerous. This isn't the time, you know. He's become harsher about. Look around you, Talmar. The celebration, it's just more blood and sport to cover for the ongoing troubles. We both helped shepherd it along. This isn't the future we had planned for, but it's the one the fates have dealt. Can we really stand by? He begins to raise his hand and strike a pose, as if preparing to make a bold declaration. The guard's hand intercepts Eamar's arm, firmly preventing the entertainer from making a scene. You know how harsh justice is these days. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it would crush me to see noble intentions harming good people, especially like you. I appreciate those feelings, I do. But what Pitax needs now is action, and I intend to act. The entertainer looks up, spots you, and smiles as Talmar frowns and sadly walks away. It's a rare day that life emulates screenplays, Your Highness. Could it be that heroes have arrived in the people's time of need? Oh, heroism. That's exactly what we do. See that symbol on his clothing? That marks him as a member of the Red Crescent Theater in Pitax, a fellow artist. Imagine the stories we could write together. What seems to be the problem? I first arrived here 5 years ago, answering King Irovetti's call for artists and actors to make Pitax a new crucible for the arts. Admittedly, the king dedicated plenty of money to building new theaters and schools. Art only thrives, though, when there are visitors and patrons to pay for it. And that's where Irovetti has failed. The Pitax River is our lifeline, connecting us to the outside world. River pirates know it, and they prey upon incoming travelers. You might think the king would thwart these pirates and defend his people, but no, he's only sent escorts to protect key shipments, leaving everyone else to the pirates' depredations. This tournament? It hides how we suffer from the king's inaction. Now, when the king's soldiers cannot or will not vanquish the villains, what happens in the stories? That's right, heroes step in. Numerous victims have told me of the attacks, and I've pieced together the approximate location of the pirates' camps. If you can ambush and defeat them, traffic will flow, commerce will thrive, and you'll command the adoration of the boatmen, dock workers, artists, and more. Naturally, I'm prepared to write a play dramatizing your events. What do you say? I'm always ready to thwart pirates. I accept. But actually, I suppose I should ask some questions. Why hasn't the king acted against the pirates? He's probably getting some cut. How many pirates are out there? Varies by the report. The camp could have a few dozen, so you might try to take them by surprise. Is there a reward? The term starving artist was fairly common in Taldor. Perhaps you haven't heard it before? I do not have much wealth, but I can help you win the people's adoration. I also understand that among the theater's props are a few enchanted items of actual value, so perhaps I can entice you with those? Okay, I'll accept. Then it's settled. I'll write down the directions real quick, and when you're done, meet me in Pitak so I can hear your account. No doubt the magistrate will be pleased to stop getting piracy complaints too. I hope you'll arrive in time to see my latest production. Speaking of which, I'm already late to oversee its rehearsal. Cheerful are the skies. Excerpt.
I will guide us.
It does seem like there's quite a lot going on here. Test your finesse against the finest dwarven locksmithing. Crack the lock, get the prize. Who'll challenge the best dwarven locks of the 5 King Mountains? Hopefully I can have Knock Knock take this on.
Listening as hard as I can. Did it without breaking it. I did it? I did! Oh,
Oh no. It doesn't tell me what the DC was. Just the fortitude save. Okay. Kinetic diadem. Pretty cool. Also cool. Ooh. Very potent. Quicken's pretty great too. Ninth level spells. Yeah, he's got lots of cool stuff, but I don't have the money for it.
Our path leads on.
Greetings, Your Highness. I'm Natalia Guitarson, Headmaster at the Academy of Grand Arts. Welcome to the tournament. Is this your first time here? I'll be honest, I'm delighted to hear that what you've done with the Freelands. Not so long ago, it was little more than a hole in the ground, but you've brought it real civilization. Bravo. Lindsay has some news for you. Yes, Professor Eobold found refuge in our capital. And you know what? He's writing his memoirs of his time at the Academy. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining read for everyone in Pintax. No, all of Avestan. A book, you say? How brave of him. I hope he doesn't neglect to include the details of his dismissal. What details? What do you mean? Irovetti kicked Professor Eobold for just being too smart, didn't he? I'm sure that's exactly how he described it. They call him the Insightful for a reason, after all. Anyway, forgive me, but I've no interest in discussing this topic further. If you'd like to exchange idle gossip, I'm sure you can find much more willing and interesting company here. I suspect you know to whom I'm referring. Well, how fares the Academy? Oh, just splendid. If you ever find time to visit Pitax, I'd gladly give you a tour. We're currently holding an exhibition of our graduates' work, though it's a pity that... No, it's fine, believe me. We have plenty worth coming to see and hear. I get the impression that something's upsetting you. Oh, please don't worry. I'm just disappointed that one of our best students, Trevisent of Cordelon, couldn't be here today. He could be singing in any capital, but the king chose to send him to some backcountry village called Littletown. Of course, His Highness would never squander talent, so I'm sure we'll hear from Trevisent again, but still, I do worry. Who might you recommend I meet here? There are many respectable attendees today. You already know King Irovetti, of course. You should be able to speak with the High Priest Dre Yardens as well. He's truly a wise and honorable man. And if I may give you one piece of advice, beware of Karin Verriel. He may be business partners with King Irovetti himself, but those who deal with him usually find themselves in a bad way. Since he showed up in the city, our dear captain of the guard has had so much more work that he... Forgive me, I've probably said too much. What about those circumstances? Okay. So she really doesn't want to talk about it. Oh, Titus, the famed Baron. No, excuse me. King of the Freelands now has come to visit us. It's such a delight to see you here. Mistru Belvara, well, do you remember me? Ah, Lindsay, of course I remember you. You and your nonsense at the poetics exam. I hear you have your own publishing house now. I didn't take you for the entrepreneurial sort, but I'm happy you finally found your calling. Tell me, are the songs you compose for Irovetti as bold as the ones you sang in my capital? Have my humble verses so offended you that you still recall their sting? Please, Your Highness, it doesn't behoove a person of your standing to take umbrage against a petty bard. Don't you know the old proverb? The tunes are chosen by the one who pays the piper. Lindsay had some questions for you. Oh, I just hope it isn't about any of the lectures I used to give at the Academy. Go ahead, ask away. Sorry, but I really need to know the truth. Why did Irovetti kick Professor Eobold out of the Academy? Oh yes, he did move to your kingdom, didn't he? I'm curious how he portrayed his dismissal. I'd bet it was something like a poem in 6 verses recounting the tale of a tyrant ousting a poor but honest scientist for telling the truth. The reality is much more mundane. Irovetti didn't fire Eobold. Atalia did. And I have to give it to her. This time, unlike most times, she was completely right. What am I hearing? A respected scholar, an author of so many books, articles, and memorandums, lied? Unbelievable. That can't be. Why did Atalia expel Eobold? Well, Eobold is a very fine teacher, of course, but he pays too much attention to how his favorite students perform in his class, and not enough to their extracurricular activities. Why worry if they steal a trinket here or there, or maybe rough someone up on occasion, so long as their poetry and music are exemplary? Predictably, this led to a sad end. what was supposed to be just another innocent joke from one of his favorites, Alondi, led to someone's death. It was an accident, certainly. The kids just underestimated their own strength. Italia expelled the lot of them, and as always, Eobald went to stand up for them. But this time, he discovered that her patience was not boundless. She blamed him and said that he'd let his troublemakers run wild, so he could get out of the academy along with them. She told him she won't tolerate any more bullying, even if it's coming from genius students. I understand that it's odd to hear "won't tolerate" from Italia Guitarin, but that's really what happened. If Irovetti didn't banish Eobald, then why did he send those cutthroats after him? He'd planned to return the old man to Pitax and make Italia reinstate him into the academy, or, failing that, he at least wanted to keep him from going to you. Eobald the Insightful is a prominent name. Of course Irovetti would want the teacher serving him rather than his neighbors. In the hands of a ruler, even death is political currency, though none wish to recall that. Sooner or later, fate will use it to pay them as well. Why would Italia hide the circumstances of his dismissal? She doesn't like to discuss Academy's internal affairs. Behind that neat facade, there are too many events she's looked the other way on over the years. All in good faith, of course. Thanks for telling us. I'm not sure you should be thanking me. I see poor Lindsay's not too happy with the truth. Hey, come on, girl. Cheer up. Be disappointed by people is practically a professional necessity for people like us. Whatever I may have said before, you're not a bad bard, and that means sometimes you have to face the music. Thank you. Well, tell me about yourself. You could have easily asked any of my admirers who Animede Belvara is. That'd be about 3/4 of Pitax, and the rest are all my haters. You don't get to be the best among a city of poets and musicians without gathering a few enemies along the way. But why should I concern myself with hacks and soreheads? Alright, what can you tell me about the king? Animede's face darkens for a moment, but she quickly regains her sweet smile. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's a great man. Pitax was a boring place before him. Only pirates, fences, and other scum did any business in the area. But then King Irovetti came and turned it into the cultural capital of the region. With him in charge, the arts have flourished, and the city's been filled with songs, paintings, and statues. I just pray that Callistra breathes the same love of the arts into the withered hearts of some of the other rulers in the region, who prefer to squander their resources on saber-rattling. Some may say that King Irovetti doesn't have a taste for the arts. Any successful person gets haters spreading dirty rumors about them. You should hear the kinds of things they say about me. Pay it no mind. Our king is a man of exquisite taste, with appreciation for all kinds of art. He is also an unsurpassed singer, a skilled hunter, an excellent horseman, and able to bake fancy breads while juggling daggers. If you could begin on the path of singing the praises of your superiors, dear, at least use your imagination. The king has many enemies, but we'll go through the dialogue option. Of course he has enemies, lots of them. Just like anyone who's actually accomplished anything in life. Take some of the old trade houses, for example, the Kinza and some of the others who he's stripped of their power. They'd love to see him at the bottom of the river, but even now, in their mutual sorry states, they can't manage to work together. There is also Erezi Kaliz, captain of the guard. He was just seething with indignation when the king brought new rules to the city, but who wants to listen to the whinings of failures like them? Irovetti brought a golden age on Pitax. Tell me about the Rushlight tournament. Our beloved king has run the tournament once in several years since he took the throne. Guests from all the river kingdoms come for it, from Daggermark to Miven. It's a pity Brevoy didn't honor us with any representatives this year. Guess the Aldari aren't in a very festive mood right now. On the bright side, we get to host you for the first time, and Callistra willing, it won't be the last. Who might you recommend I meet here? That depends on what you're looking for. If you're in the mood for pleasant company, well, you've already met me. And if you're in the mood for some schadenfreude, you can listen to the whining of Gasperlia Kanza. His family lost the Pitaxian crown in a card game. Wow. Or maybe Atalia Gitarin, the headmaster of the academy, who seems to think her skill at bureaucracy makes her a good bard. And if thrills are what you're after, especially the shivers down your spine kind, try speaking to Karn for real, head of the Thieves Guild. Okay, very well. Didn't we talk to Karn already? He said he was a simple merchant. I mean, he was suspicious enough that no one would believe he was a simple merchant, but I didn't think head of the Thieves Guild. Oh, a new face at the celebration. I'm pleased to meet you. Dre Yarns, High Priest of Callistra, at your disposal. Harem mumbles, vanity, futility, vexation of spirit. Callistra is the goddess of revenge. I'm sure many mentioned Irovetti and their prayers to her, and probably not with the kindest words. You're well versed in matters both spiritual and political. Of course, it's not my place to say what people pray to my lady for, but you're right that many would wish for revenge upon him. To be honest, our temple has only benefited from his rise to power. Irovetti isn't stingy with his donations, and the celebrations he holds are beyond all praise. The king himself, though, his exorbitant pride is irritating. Callistra dislikes those who would place themselves above the gods, and I wouldn't be surprised if she teaches him a lesson sooner or later. That I could deal with, though. There's something else I find harder and harder to tolerate. You see, the goddess patronizes bodily love, but only that given voluntarily. It is sometimes difficult for me to protect our young priest and priestesses from his unsolicited attentions. I fear to imagine how hard it must be for our beautiful Anemede, or what Atalia Gitarin must deal with. The king is said to often mistake the academy for his personal harem. Ew. Who should I meet here? First recommendation would be Maestro Anemede. We've talked to her already. Do many Pitaxians worship Callistra? Of course. She's the patron goddess of Pitax since its founding. The goddess likes our joyful town, and its citizens love her in return. If ever you visit Pitax, you would surely enjoy the proud spikes of her cathedral. It's the most beautiful building in the city. Your Royal Highness, welcome to the Rushlight Tournament. My name is Nunzio Arapia. Probably Arpeia. And you have the honor of being His Highness King Irovetti's Master of Ceremonies. You could say the organization of this tournament rests on my shoulders. If you need anything, I'm at your disposal. Tell me about the tournament. Since starting his reign over Pitax, His Highness King Irovetti has held this tournament once in several years, inviting guests from the high society of nearby kingdoms to attend. Today we have guests from Daggermark, Miven, Carlton, and Timon. Brevoy did not honor us with their representatives this year. It's entirely possible that recent events and the stressful political climate have put them in a less festive mood. But we're pleased to have your Highness in attendance for the first, and I hope not last, time this year. What events are on the schedule? The tournament consists of 3 contests. First, the participants will display their strength and dexterity in the Fisher's Triathlon, a tribute to local crafts and trades, so to speak. Then we'll be measuring competitors' wits in the boasting contest. There's a reason we're the cultural capital of the region after all. And finally, the evening will wrap up with some mock combat in the drunken melee. Then His Majesty will announce the winner of the tournament, and we'll enjoy a festive banquet followed by a splendid fireworks show. And what about flighting? I'm good at that. Flighting was likely cancelled due to my arrival, I suspect. More's the pity. I lost the chance to earn myself a second death sentence. Okay, looks like I talked to him to start the fishing part. Stefano. Since your last encounter, Stefano has put on a little weight, and his appearance has become even more festive. As you approach, a polite smile blooms on his face. Why, if it isn't King Titus, Please allow me to congratulate you on your success. It seems like all of my conversation options are a little rude, so we meet again, and not on the battlefield, assuming this tournament isn't a trap, of course. Of course, it's not. It may be hard to believe, but King Irovetti's intentions are quite honest this time. Trust me. I'll make a move sooner or later, but for now, he's invited you for the chance to see a new rival with his own eyes. I'll let you in on a little secret. He actually thinks very highly of you. So Irovetti considers me a rival? I didn't think I'd given him any cause for a feud. The unfortunate reality is that your very existence, along with the strength of your kingdom, is cause enough. What would happen were you to join with Mivan against Pitax? Or perhaps you might seek to extend your lands west and not stop at the border. What if merchants from Brevoy begin traveling through your lands, bypassing Pitax entirely? And of course, the most important question, do you sit securely on your throne, or does Pitax stand a chance of expanding east? I'll go into the other things later. This isn't the first year the tournament's been held. Why was I just invited this year? I mean no offense when I say this, but both you and your state were, frankly, inconsequential, not significant enough for our attention. But your victory at Brevoy's border and your subsequent coronation changed all that. In truth, King Irovetti only invites those he's identified as worthy rivals to the tournament. Well, thanks for the warning. Think nothing of it. I have the greatest interest in seeing how events will unfold. I wonder why it's giving me a dialogue option to attack almost literally everyone. This is a magic storybook chronicling an adventuring party led by the wizard folk sorcerer Shelburne, and the human cavalier Lord Jezidor of Taldor. It's ever-changing and ever-growing, as new chapters are added every day by the creator Shelburne's adoptive mother, the sorcerer bard Glorio. The tales of all their escapades are written in the book, be they glorious or infamous. It also contains the stories of their other companions. The owner of this book reads one new chapter every time on rest, granting a benefit until the next rest, depending on which companion the chapter described. The chapter is selected randomly. So sometimes you get Fireball, sometimes +5 bonus on Persuasion and Use Magic Device. No damage per sneak attack die, +10 confidence on Stealth. Cast a Rage. Lightning Bolt 3 times per day. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Seems like sort of a Lindsay item to me. An elf in leather armor scans the crowd intently. He seems to be the only one at this celebration not participating. He's also the only one besides the guards whose weapon isn't sealed. Your Highness, welcome to Pitax. Captain of the City Guard, at your service. You don't seem to be enjoying the celebration. This is a celebration for you. For the City Guard, it's just another workday, and right now, our work is preventing disruption of the festivities. Where do the guards come from? Even pirates and smugglers have laws of a kind, and they need someone to keep their order. The city guard was created by the trading houses not long after the city was founded. We're paid by the citizens, not all of them like us, but they all understand things are better with us than without us. Irovetti seems to have a tight grip on his power over the city. Well, yes, the trading houses hate him, but of course. But, well, first and foremost, he has hostages. Second, each of the families is afraid to act alone, but they're all incapable of acting together. Gaspar Lecanza tried to unite them, but to no avail. and it's probably for the best, frankly. The last thing we need is combat in the streets. Irovetti can be blamed for many things, but at least he took power quickly and without carnage. Now Irovetti's enemies have nothing to do but sit around like High Priest Dre Yarns, praying for Callistra to send her giant holy wasp down to take him away. Who should I meet here? That depends on the purpose. If you're here on business, well, you already know King Irovetti, of course, but it'd be worth your time to speak with Gaspar Lacanzo, too. The trading houses have lost much of their former power, but they're still capable of many things. And if you'd like to partake of our renowned culture, there's Anamid Belvara, the most famous bard in the city, and Natalia Gitarin as well, headmaster at the academy. Just take care, they can't stand one another. I hear you're not pleased with the way King Irovetti rules. Not so loud, Irovetti has ears everywhere. But if your highness must know, so be it. My fellows and I serve the city, not the crown, not the trading houses, not whoever has the biggest purse, the city. This dump we call Pitax, and all the poor fools who swarm around it. Former kings understood this, but they're the ones who arranged it all in the first place. But when King Irovetti took charge, he thought the city guard would be his personal cutthroats. Once he realized that wasn't the case, he started doing everything in his power to make our jobs harder. Now he has the personal guard he formed, who are above the law and following the orders of a barbarian. Then there's King Viril, with his so-called Thieves Guild. Scumbags flooded the entire city with Numerian drug. Blood brush extract, the poison that turns people into mindless sheep. Our former kings understood that even Pitax needed some bare minimum of order to avoid falling to pieces and floating down the river, but Irovetti seems on track to burn the city to the ground. Righteous heart, rotten environment. Take care, guard. Your honor will bring woe upon you. She's got a cool name, but I guess I can't talk to her. Ooh. Caged up wyverns. Mysteriato.
Forwards.
Well, the representative of the trade house. Tell me about yourself. I'm the head of the Liasenza family and master of what remains of the Iron Fox trade house. Before Irovetti took the crown, it would have been my family receiving you at our house. Alas, we're simply guests at his celebration now. What caused you to lose influence? It's a dark and sordid story, and I swear I'd given my life to learn the full truth of it. Pitax was founded by 4 families and ruled by their 4 trade houses for centuries. We quarreled from time to time, of course, and property didn't always manage to change hands peacefully, but none of us would dream of impinging on the other family's lawful rights. And then King Irovetti appeared. We underestimated him, thought him nothing more than another adventurer like the thousands of others in the region. He handled matters quickly and chaotically, with assets running through his fingers faster than chips at a card table. His wealth grew rapidly, but he still wasn't a big fish, for a while at least. He invited representatives from all the trade houses to play cards. No one really knows exactly what happened, but by morning he owned most of their assets, including the crown. They suspected a rigged game and sent representatives from the families to discuss the matter with him. Then a wave of disappearances rolled across the city. My brothers, the former king of Pitax, disappeared, along with many other honorable people, and Irovetti made it clear that the lives of his hostages would depend upon our obedience. He was king, and our wealth and power lay in ruins. The citizens seemed to like him. It would seem so, wouldn't it? Yet appearances can be deceiving. Yes, he's made many rich and happy, but there are many more lives he's dragged through the mud for his own endless celebration. Trust me, there are many who would gladly put an end to his rule, but the king has so many spies that everyone's afraid to even discuss it. Ask the head of his precious academy what she thinks. Or maybe the high priest Trey Yarns. You'll see their mouths shut tighter than an oyster shell. You said the so-called Thieves Guild. What is it he really does? Certainly not picking pockets. The fellow came from Numeria shortly after Irovetti started his raid. I won't lie, the Pitaxian house occasionally made some questionable deals, but before Irovetti, those, like for real, were driven from the city faster than you can say, first dose is free. The man's a drug pusher. He sells the blood brush extract. They say it enhances all senses extraordinarily and invokes vivid visions, but also affects minds and could be toxic in repeated doses. I saw those who overuse it. They could not put 3 words together. Because of Real, half the city's youth is on his trash. Take the gold, supplies poison to his subjects. Irovetti's soul is black, black and venomous. And Irovetti's pleased as punch about it. The more time the citizens spend in altered states, the fewer questions they ask. The gnome also uses his own product. It affects both the body and the mind. He fears his own shadow, seeing deception and trickery everywhere. Those who deal with him hope for fabulous profits, but they more often than not end up at the bottom of the river. We need to talk to this drug pusher. I have stern words for him.
Without a doubt.
I heard a few curious words, blood brush extract, and that you're no ordinary salesman, and your wares are far from mundane. Quiet, quiet, I say. Too many people here. Too many eyes, ears. You want to talk business? Find me out in Pitax. I'll remember you. Okay. So I'm not allowed a chance to try and kill me before, or to kill him before the guards take me in. But I can meet him again in Pitax. I'll scout out this area a little better, and then I'll start the fishing tournament.
Forwards.
So someone's performing a secret mission for King Irovetti in Little Town. And he's kissing King Irovetti's ass. Okay, Tebrasent of Cordelon is the one who sent that, and I have no idea who that is.
Anything else?
Ooh, Greater Extend Metamagic Rod. Lindsay gets that. For now.
Adventures call to them.
That's a very valuable find.
Without a doubt.
That gives me a pretty good excuse to keep searching around. That was
I will
worth
guide
like
us.
100,000 gold.
Our path leads. Okay. Let's try out the Fisherman's Triathlon. Trumpets sounded over the arena, announcing the commencement of the Fisher's Triathlon. We were to distinguish ourselves in 3 sports, if you could call them such. You be the judge, dear reader. The first round was fish carrying, if you can believe it. They built narrow bridges over pits of mud and placed barrels on either end. One side filled with fish, and the other side empty. The goal was to get all the fish from one side to the other, barehanded, without falling into the mud. I'm sure this is just what you imagined for a royal tournament. Throwing fish at your opponents was prohibited, but there was one unofficial but well understood rule in the tournament. Don't get caught. We had to decide which of us would participate, as well as how fair we wanted to play. Let's try and play fair. Oh, that might be a bit difficult. But we can easily sneak some fishes under some people's feet. Competing honestly among such company would be more embarrassing than losing. As Knock Knock ran across the bridges with heaps of fish in his arm, he deftly tossed a fish beneath the feet of the Gralton competitor, who slipped and fell into the mud. Another fish found its way right to the Daggermark competitor's forehead, sending him down alongside the Graltoner. The judges didn't notice a thing. We won the first round. The second round was untying knots. Competitors would be tied up on poles resembling ship mast, and they had to escape the ropes. We once again had a choice to make. Sure. Knock Knock's carrying me through this with ease. The judges escorted the cheaters out of the arena, the crowd laughing and whistling all the while. With a third of the competition gone, Knock Knock easily outpaced the others, untangling the ropes and making his way to the judges, while the others still wriggled in their bonds like flies in a spider web. We'd won 2 out of 3 rounds. We seemed to have our victory in the bag, but with the rivals we were dealing with, there was no time to relax. The last round of the tournament was diving for river pearls. Huge tubs were filled with mussels and river water, and some empty jars had been placed on sets of scales. We'd have to open the mussels with our bare hands, gather the pearls, and deposit them in our team's jar. Of course, if playing fair wasn't a priority, we could try weighing down the jar with other things as well. Alright, we'll cheat just a little bit. It's in the spirit of this area. Knock Knock bravely dove into the muddy water and started opening shells, breaking his nails in the process. He put fistfuls of pearls into his jar as fast as he could, slipping in an occasional pebble, pinch of sand, or dollop of mud. Once time was up, his jar was the heaviest, a victory for us. Soon, we stood on the pedestal as the judges awarded our team the victory. We were wet, muddy, and smelled of fish, but we grinned with joy all the same. Knock Knock MVP! Ready to participate in the boasting contest. My character should be able to handle that. The tournament continued with a boasting contest. The first participant, a man from Daggermark, stepped up to the podium and told a raunchy story about him sneaking into a temple of Callistra and seducing all the priestesses, including the High Priestess, in a single night. The crowd was particularly amused by the suggestive glances he kept casting towards one of the guests from Timon. She simply smiled mysteriously in response. The second participant was a guest from Gralton, who told a completely implausible tale about his travels across other planes, where he battled undead hordes and defeated a blood-curdling monster. He was an average storyteller at best. He'd be lucky to get a C for that story at the Academy. But the listeners were inexplicably elated. Suspicious, we took a closer look at the crowd and, of course, we spotted a bard using some tricks of the trade, and likely a little magic, to aid the Gralton man's performance. Stuck up on the bard, stabbed him in the back, and disappeared. No. We quietly warned the bard that we would shut him up if he kept interfering. The bard got the message and quickly disappeared. Without the bard's support, the guest from Gralton immediately lost the audience's approval. As he grew more nervous, he began mumbling and stumbling over his words. He eventually left the podium among jeers and whistles. Then it was Pitax's turn. The kingdom's honor was represented by Enemid Belvara, a sweet-voiced singer whose smile could win over the most withered of hearts. Oh, Enemid. But while her voice was smoother than silk, her words stung like arrows. With a soft smile, Enemid told everyone how she'd spent months in our kingdom, learning our secrets and instigating a riot. Of course, the honest trade of the bard and the shading dealings of the spy often go hand in hand, but, oh, Enemid, who could have expected such an ugly blow from such a lovely lady? She described, in surprising and exceptionally critical detail, how much the citizens of our young state suffered under the atrocities of the troll assaults and the magic blade. She never stooped to actual lies, but she made it sound as though our kingdom, Baron at the time, was simply drinking and debauching while his subjects struggled. She made our crusade against Vortigau look like a cunning conquest of Varnhold, and the war with the Tiger Lords was characterized as an irresponsible venture. Talk about cruel and unfair. When Enemid finished and left the stage, it was our turn to perform. And what feats did our participant decide to tell in their performance? I'll give them the whole story. It wasn't easy getting the crowd excited for the story. They were all glorious feats, of course, but that was the problem. The audience had already heard them time and time again. Titus used all the eloquence he could bring to bear to breathe new life into these old stories. The audience hung on his every word, sometimes laughing uncontrollably, sometimes holding their breath to avoid missing anything. Titus finally brought this story to an end. and the viewers gave him a standing ovation as he left the podium. The woman from Timon, a priestess of Callistra, went last. She told stories of her love affairs in faraway countries and other planes, casually mentioning an unpleasant disease she'd contracted over her journeys that took her a long time to get rid of. Hearing that, the participant from Daggermark paled and grabbed at his belt, bringing roaring laughter from the rest of the audience. Finally, the judges announced the winner, Titus Arik. He walked up to the podium to thunderous applause and took another bow. I wasn't sure if I was going to win that one.
Without a doubt.
Let's see if Animate has anything to say about how we won there. I don't see her, but she should be right in this area. She must have left.
Forwards.
Oh, maybe she'll have something to say about it. I hear you're not exactly thrilled by Irovetti's power. Forgive me, Your Highness, but this is defamation. My students and I owe everything we have to King Irovetti. If not for him, the Academy of Grand Arts wouldn't even exist. It would be base ingratitude on my part to engage in any conspiracy against our patron. You must have me confused with Animede. She's certainly always ready to bite the hand that feeds, or caresses. Animede told us why you expelled Eobold from the Academy. I have no interest in what that individual told you. Please, let's discuss something else. Down with schools and teachers.
We march ahead.
Some of these evil options are silly. I could have sworn that loot wasn't there before. Or that loot. But then maybe we hadn't properly explored that area. Oh, Goblin Merchant. Aha, look at this pitiful stuff. Not much choice for a hero to buy, eh? Knock eyes the trader's goods with obvious greed, though he still managed to turn around with feigned disdain. What are you doing here? You know? No? Sellers, beware fair be. No one be calling us. We come where the buying is. We professional traders. Okay, show me your wares. Okay, yes. Terribly unimpressive. It's as we've been telling you, Judge. This is the third shipment in 2 months they've stolen from us. We can't keep that up. Doesn't matter how good the last 2 years' business been. No cargo means no pay, no pain means no new shipments. We asked you about the thefts before, and there's nothing changed. Where's the King's justice, Your Honor? It's true that the pirates have taken route along the Pitax River and attacked several shipments heading upriver. The King has... the King, Irovetti, shall address the problem soon. However, he will hear no formal complaint until after the Rushlight tournament. In the meantime, he advises that travelers downriver take care around Littletown. Until then, partake in the festivities and the King's generosity. If anyone has further questions or concerns, I'm at your disposal. The pirates are probably under the king's employ, since someone in a letter mentioned he had a secret mission around Little Town. I'm clearly addressing someone important, but I don't believe we've met. I'm the Honorable Walsh Selvaway, a magistrate of Pitax, judge of the people's concerns, and executor of the king's justice. Is there a problem? Yes, that. An outbreak of river piracy has caused some consternation among the citizens. Simply avoid or exercise caution near Little Town in the meantime. Perhaps Pitax would benefit from somebody who has a history of vanquishing bandits. Let us be clear. Pitax's armed forces are entirely capable of handling these criminals. There's no need for would-be heroes or aspiring vigilantes to get involved, much less for an interest. I recommend enjoying the rest of the festival. How can he be so deaf to the people's woes? And he calls himself a judge. A fine day to you.
Without a doubt.
That's the second path of splendid glory we've picked up. They're just talking about the possible homeland of King Irovetti. Okay. I'm eager to get to the last part of this tournament. The part that involves fighting. A little bit of a clipping issue there. That doesn't really matter. And how we just walk through fences. Also not a big deal. But amusing nonetheless. Okay. Let's participate in the drunken melee.
Stand with me.
Oh. Spare fist.
We shall overcome. Attack. This ends you.
How am I critting so much? Alright, that was fun. Your Royal Highness, okay. The tournament is finished, isn't it? I'd like to know who won. Ah yes, His Highness is just about to make a speech announcing the winner. Look, everyone's gathering around now.
Lords and ladies, another Rushlight tournament has come to an end. I'd like to thank all of you who honored this event with your presence. My friends, I'm happy to see all of you, but I'd like to give a special welcome to one guest who found themselves invited here for the first time. Today, we had the Baron, no, excuse me, it's King now, isn't it? Of a majority of what was once the Stolen Lands. Thank you for coming, my darling. I can call you that, right? I thank you with all my heart.
So sleazy.
I first learned of him from my friend Stefano Mosconi. To be honest, his report was less than flattering. Impassable swamps, monsters galloping about, and a complete absence of any valuable resources. Nothing more than a dirty hole ruled by another bandit lord, hardly worthy of your attention. That's what he wrote back then. I'm so happy he was wrong. Truth be told, even now traveling that domain is a less than pleasurable experience. Some roads have appeared, but their safety leaves much to be desired. Take the sad story of a poor Toman Henvaki from Gralton. He set off to those lands and hasn't been seen since. His brother Edrist went to find the poor fellow, and what happened? He returned empty-handed. Toman seems to have vanished into thin air, like hundreds of travelers before him. At least Edrist was lucky, I suppose. He managed to come back alive. That's certainly considered fortunate for those who decide to swing through those lands.
Well, pretty much
And the
figured
hunt
this
the
is
Baron
what was
put
going to
on,
be going
clearly imitating my tournament, it was beyond description. While guests were out hunting hydras and owl bears, the latter came from behind and ate at the banquet table, along with all the servants. Some celebration, right?
Yeah. Is this how you show hospitality? If I have offended you in some way, just tell me and I'll offer my apologies.
No, forgive me, I don't wish to seem impolite. But getting back to the subject, all I really wanted to get at was that His Highness is a personage truly as extraordinary as his lands, and I'm happy to see him at this celebration. And now it's time to announce the winner of the tournament. This year, all 3 contests were won by guests from one kingdom. I'm not sure what charms, tricks, or divine intervention helped him, but let's hear it for the winner! Your Highness, if you please. I know you're not exactly a master of ceremonies, but please try to say something articulate to my guests.
Oh. I hope my victory didn't offend. I do apologize. It's hard to tone down all this talent.
And now, with the competition over and the prize awarded, let's get on with the main part of the celebration. The banquet! I can hear your stomachs growling from here. Let's get to the table, and later we'll see an unforgettable fireworks show.
Oh, the fireworks? We got some Ring of Ultimate Protection. Let's say Ring of Ultimate Protection. Ooh, gives spell resistance. Yeah, he doesn't need the cloak anymore, since his ring is better than the cloak and provides the same bonus. Maybe I should give him a Ring of Protection. 4 AC is sort of a big deal. Okay, the tournament is over. King Irovetti wasn't very friendly, but overall everything was settled peacefully. Perhaps this invitation was a dirty trick after all. No, I can't believe that. There must be some kind of catch, or it wouldn't be Irovetti. I think we'll be hearing some news from Pitax in the near future. Yeah. Now let's head to a little town and deal with some pirates. A whole army of mean-looking guards awaited us at Pitax gates. They were led by a pompous buffoon named Welsh Selaway, a Pitaxian magistrate no less. Leave now, your highness, King Irovetti's orders. We just looked at each other and... told Welsh we needed to discuss a few things with him regarding the river pirates. The river pirates are Pitax's concern, not yours. You would do better to mind your own kingdom, your highness. Politely asked them to let us enter. Alas, one can't get anything in this life with the help of mere politeness. The magistrate didn't even bother answering, but his eyes grew even more impudent, and his smile more contemptuous. Alright, we turned away. To this Pitax river bend. Our travels brought us to the little town surroundings, in pursuit of the dastardly river pirates who preyed on innocent merchants and travelers. It would have been nice to march in, knock some skulls together, and call it a day. A rumor suggested that we were heavily outnumbered. Even worse, the villains had set up their camp in a defensible position. Protected by the river on one side, a thick forest on the other side, and a sticky swamp on the third. And a bunch of sentries watching for intruders, and we were in trouble. Thank goodness our fearless leader had a plan. These are all pretty rough. Let's see if anyone's lower nature was good enough. Nope. Our leader ably found an animal trail and led us deeper into the woods, towards the camp. We confidently followed, not knowing quite what had cleared the path. It soon became all too apparent our leader's foot lodged in a large burrow, eliciting a menacing growl from beneath the earth. What followed was a brief and terrifying farce involving a family of badgers, low-hanging poison ivy, and some very choice words. I'll note that choosing this route was not my idea. We picked burrs from our cloaks as we reached the edge of the clearing. From there, we could see that there wasn't one camp, there were two. The second was several hundred feet away, judging by the campfires, which meant that we could vanquish the pirates in one camp before the other could respond. Yeah, let's wrestle near some boats and subdue a few sentries. It was exactly the plan you read about in Dashing Tales, and our enemies fell right into our trap. We quietly dispatched the sentries before launching our attack on the remaining pirates.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
Throw some communal sea invisibility just in case.
Not used to lighting enemies on fire.
Strike as one.
Good.
Staggered. That's surprising.
You deserve it.
A voice cuts through the din, roaring with such indignation that the fighting momentarily stops. What's going on here? Who dares attack my camp? The speaker is a suntanned woman wearing light blue traveling clothes with high boots, and an embroidered heron adorns one of her sleeves. Well, this throws some sand in the clockwork. The blue outfit and heron insignia indicate that this is an important member of the River Song Trade House in Pitax, not a pirate. In fact, I'd say that makes us look like the pirates now. She draws her weapon and takes a menacing step forward. I don't know who you are, and any patience I have to hear your excuses is as short-lived as you are. If you have something to say, make it good. Recall what you can about the woman's heraldry. Joffrey Viscari leads this trade house, and this might be his sister. As you look down at the enemies you've slain, it seems you haven't attacked pirate, you've killed influential merchants. This is all a terrible mistake. Explain, quickly. A playwright convinced us to hunt pirates in order to win the adoration of Pitax's common folk. You understand how appallingly stupid that sounds, yes? I am Rinchella Viscari of the River Song Trade House, not a pirate. Be more specific. Who put you up to this? The playwright Emar Deschamps. That man writes overblown dramas for a living, and you trusted him? What kind of fool would you have to be to... Wait, are you Titus Ark? I was warned that you might try something like this. She extracts a scroll from a tube and unrolls it for you to see. It clearly warns the Viscari family that raiders sent by you would soon threaten her shipments. Judge Silverway may be a bastard at times, but he sure knew you would attack my convoy. Give me a good reason I shouldn't throw your corpse to the eels. This is clearly a setup, but I have nothing more to add, either you believe me or not. No matter how much I may want you dead now, it wouldn't be justice. I suspect there's more going on that I need to understand first. Here. Use this to solve your mystery. Whether it leads you to Pitax or hell, I care not. For now, leave me space to bury the dead, and should I see you again, may the gods show you more mercy than you've shown today.
Yeah!
Okay. Well, that could have gone better. So I guess we check out their scroll. Your trade house remains one of Pitax's prides, bringing wealth and traffic to our noble city. While your independence is admirable, the river kingdoms are no longer a place where free spirits and a fast blade are enough to ensure the safety of so prosperous a family. Twice you have spurned His Highness King Irovetti's offer of protection, and as his agent, I extend that offer once more, with a warning. The hordes of Titus grow increasingly restless, and tales of that monarch's ruthless savagery are confirmed more every day. As his gaze turns south to Pitax, we would do well to stand together. Set aside any quarrels you may have with the king, and accept his guiding hand in these troubled times. Alright. So, they knew of my noble nature and decided to use it against me. Or I guess if you play an evil character, your habit of taking out bandits, regardless of your intentions. Use detect magic. The door literally shines with dozens of magical auras. It's impossible to see any pattern in this mess. It seems like the spells were thrown on the door occasionally and chaotically, rather than created in an elaborate order. Knock politely. Nothing happens. Pick the lock. The simple lock didn't stand a chance. The door quietly swings open. Lol. Like some kind of forge. Hello, sorry for inviting myself. A large and broad man turns to you, trying to smooth his thick tousled hair. His deep voice could have belonged to a giant. Hey, who are you? I'm a fan. Another fan. You fans are the bane of my existence, and of course you're here seeking stories of the legendary Blackmore the Wizard. How can I help you? What are you doing here? This humble dwelling is my workshop. It's where I'm creating my masterpiece, the Cyan Magistic Grimoire, a calligraphic work of art. The client who ordered it is my good friend, Captain Martin. He must be getting so impatient by now. I'm so far behind schedule. I just want the Grimoire to be perfect, you see? Perhaps it's time to finish? The book is almost finished. It's a phenomenal piece of work. All it needs is a couple of alterations. Everything must be perfect. But if you could come back in a week, the book should be ready by then. I have almost no doubt about it. It's important to be able to accept closure. Perhaps it's time to put a period on it. Art cannot tolerate half measures. You've much to learn before you're capable of discussing serious matters among artists. Maybe I can help? Oh, an excellent idea. Let's try. Jesus, 23,000 experience? After many hours, you and Blackmore stare at your creation. The Grimoire, finished. Perfect. Is this the person who ordered it? Oh. Looks like he's lucky I'm around. The Grimoire that will open this world's gates to devils. It must belong to me. Give me the book and perhaps I'll spare your life. How did we work on this grimoire and not know it opens the world to devils? Did you leave the door unlocked? No, I've spent too much time writing it. Get out! Circuit, help me! My furious squirrels! I'm looking forward to the squirrels attacking.
I need inspiration.
We shall overcome.
Be easier if you not fight back.
Ha! Primitives.
Maybe it's me that's lucky he's here.
Cannot hide from me.
Could be worse.
Please.
I don't think I am the level I was supposed to be for
Getting
this.
killed here.
Jesus.
got a single one. Well, it's time to buff up a little bit before we talk to this dude.
Knock knock here's with ears.
Wait, why can't I trickery the door open? What the hell?
Just letting the ink dry.
Okay, I think time
Together we
stops when
stand.
we're talking. So I'm going to abuse that a little bit.
What troubles you?
We're not going to hold back at all, though.
Let us not hesitate.
Who's there?
You require my
Maestro?
assistance?
Anything is possible. Resting would be nice, don't you think? And Lindsay was called forth.
Quiet. I'm thinking.
Listening as hard as I
So,
can.
any brilliant ideas?
I wrote it like I saw it.
The end draws near.
Sight.
Okay, getting closer. I think we were taking fire damage before.
What's new?
But I'm not positive on that.
Adventures call to them.
Down. Move quiet. Ready to
My
stab.
skills are getting rusty.
Grotus awaits us. My strength fades.
Oh, it forces several hours to pass. You can't keep your buffs up. Well, that was a lot of time spent for nothing. And I can't seem to make this little dialogue exchange go any faster.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
I'm gonna let him hold the aggro for a second.
We shall overcome.
I told you to do a thing.
You're dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Cannot hide from me.
Primitive!
My path at an end. I see the faces
All
of my
my
family.
knowledge, all my genius, lost!
This one is not for my level right now. But the real problem is that we lose all of our buffs. I wonder if I can fuck with the AI and run around some corners or something.
Forwards.
We're pretty close to that level up.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Without a doubt.
A weird magical thing from far away. Cool, thanks. rusty metal
Applause,
thing.
please.
No thanks. Neat.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Oh. So that's why the devils are showing up. He told them it was a special grimoire that would help the devils, and he was serving some kind of devil lord, but he was never really doing that. He was just tricking the devils who were chasing him through hell. That's a pretty awesome character. Oh, this character is amazing. Okay, so you don't get the tremendous amount of EXP if you don't help him finish it the arcane way. But then you get attacked by devils. It's quite the conundrum. Unless you can restart and reload as many times as you want. I think we're gonna try and move up here.
I will not falter. Without a doubt.
Yeah, 23,000 experience is just amazing. Nothing else has ever been... it teleports my people in. It keeps breaking all the ways I want to break it. I hate unskippable cutscenes.
Stand with me. You shall not falter.
Jesus.
Serves you right.
My path at an end.
Worse? And will be. Definitely will be.
Getting.
Yeah, so she backs off, immediately heals for 150.
Ah, good. You dead.
Oh, Jesus. That's gonna have to wait. It's a fun challenge, but we need some more AC or something so I can survive a round or two and get buffs off.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Okay. Reaching the wooded isle, we stopped to look around. The locals living around the lake fully believed the place was cursed. Day and night, colored lights supposedly appeared around the island, and some brave souls would even watch them fly over the water. The local legend said that anyone who saw those lights would definitely disappear. If not that night, then within the month for sure. We didn't see any lights at all, though. The island seemed forlorn and completely uninteresting. Silent, gloomy pines stood over the gray rocky shore. A narrow path disappeared into the woods. Okay, let's explore. Whoever made the path clearly didn't use it often. We could barely make it out among the ferns. We had to walk single file along the path as branches from the crowded bushes grabbed at our sleeves and backpack straps, only to hit the next person in line once we'd passed. The forest grew taller and thicker and ever darker. The air suddenly grew intensely humid as clouds of milky white, incredibly thick fog flowed up from the ground. And believe me, dear reader, when I say incredibly thick, we're not talking like how an innkeeper might talk up his soup. It's become impossible to see past our own noses, and it was like our ears had been stuffed with cotton. The air itself became so dense it was like walking through water. We had to navigate by touch, and we could move only half as fast as we'd been going. Titus, who'd been walking last, was forced to stop. With great difficulty, he could barely make out the muffled and worried voices of his friends ahead. Something had to be done, but what? Break through the fog and catch up to everyone. Failed. He moved through the fog, but progress became more difficult with each step. He felt a sudden movement of air to the left before he flew forward, having been pushed hard in the back. Failing to keep his balance, he fell into the sticky mud. At that moment, he just barely spotted a pair of pale hands reaching out, grabbed his bag, and disappeared back into the fog. The fog finally began to clear, and soon there was no trace of it. Titus looked back, and his friends were nowhere to be seen, but up ahead he could just make out a blinking welcome light. Titus approached the light source, and it quickly became clear that the light was a bonfire. Soon he entered the brightly lit clearing and saw all of us. But why then did no one jump out to greet him, or give a welcoming yell, or a hug, or even offer a cup of hot tea? Why had everyone frozen in their seats, spoons lifted into the air? Why the deathly silence? Imagine his surprise when he finally saw why this appearance had caused such a strange reaction. It seemed he hadn't been missing at all. He'd been sitting with us all by the fire, watching his exact copy emerge from the forest. Yes, dear reader, just imagine it. 2 copies of the king met in the clearing, seemingly identical. But which of the 2 was real? The king sitting by the fire said, "How can there be any doubt? I'm the real king, of course. Look, I've got my bag with all my things." And what did the king who walked out of the forest answer? "I can tell you how many meals we packed. Can you do the same?" A deafening silence hung in the air. One could hear the thoughts churning around our brains. And then, the one sitting by the fire laughed in a strange voice. He stood up and began raising into the air. The mask dropped, and we saw a short, pale man with blonde hair and parrot-like wings with bright feathers. We all went after him together, but Titus held on to him most tightly. His hand gripped the Joker's wing in an iron grip. Then an ear-piercing whistle sounded from all around us, and stones began raining on us from above. The impostor was aided by his winged kin, who grabbed him by the hands and began pulling him up. We didn't give up, but in the end we were overpowered. There were just too many, dear reader. They quickly reclaimed our prisoner from us. Soaring into the air and shaking their fist at us, they flew off. We sat a long time around the fire, laughing and chatting about how Titus cleverly dispelled the illusion. And when morning came, as we looked around at the rainbow-colored feathers left behind by our uninvited guest, I noticed one of them had lost a valuable bracelet in the fight. We ended up with a trophy, at least. What kind of trophy? Bonus to illusion spells. Do not care. Okay. I still don't really know what I'm doing there. I moved the pillar. It's probably not in the right place. Oh shit. It's time for Bald Hilltop.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Sorry, Bald Hilltop's important. Actually, Bald Hilltop's so important. Right after we get those bracers would be a good time to start heading back. And I'll just deal with the fatigue or exhaustion when we get there, I guess. I believe we can get rid of some level of fatigue with the restoration spell.
My strength fades.
Yeah.
Magritium Turinos.
Anything is possible.
Na, Orma. Ana, Sa, Tam. Na, Orma. Ana, Sa, Tam.
Quiet, I'm thinking.
Inimosi Travisi. Lizono Daniam. Manishrin Sukino. Ona Adayana.
I don't even know if we properly need all these buffs, but whatever. Does not hurt much for sure.
Inimosi Travisi.
Okay.
Let's finish them quick.
A clever ploy.
Oh shit, swarms.
Ha! Primitives.
We shall overcome.
Okay. Turns out the buffs probably were pretty important. Expected a little more reward-wise from that, though. Let's see. Okay, strong grips, not important, but whatever. The screen looks slightly different, but then there was a patch today, so that makes sense. Greater weapon specialization's just 2 damage per attack. But I guess it's the best of what we got here.
A rest would be welcome.
Double debilitations, obviously pretty great. Yeah. Definitely double debilitation.
Knock knock hears with ears.
Let's see. The cognitogen's pretty impressive. Thought I already had communal stone skin. Yeah, that's the only one I do have. Oh, I can just acquire a spell from any level. Got a lot of good spells. No one has protection from arrows, so I guess we'll take that.
My strength fades.
Patricium Turinos.
27 strength. Quite crazy. Frightening enemies is pretty useful. It might even help us in that fight against the devils. They'd be much less dangerous if they're busy running away.
Resting would be nice, don't you think? Does he already have Point Blank Master? Yeah, he does. Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Everyone is totally exhausted. But that's fine.
Time to search for the spot to rest.
Come to the tavern after the council. We need to talk about my damn tribe and Nilak and about the ghost. Will you come? I'll wait. I'll try not to get drunk, but I really want to. Professor, I can't believe you lied to me this whole time. Don't try to deny it. I heard everything. How you covered for bullies, how it wasn't even Irovetti who fired you. It was Italia. How could you? Lindsay, please calm down. I didn't deceive you. You never even asked about the circumstances of my dismissal, remember? It's, you know, a sensitive subject. I may not have been good enough student to be one of your favorites like a Lundy, but I do remember the basics, like the 7 types of lies, and I definitely remember your lecture on lies of omission. You wanted me to write a book about all the atrocities going on within the halls of the Academy, and you left a pretty big one. You never told me a student died because of you. What other sensitive subjects have you been avoiding? Lindsay, I beg you, please let me explain. You're bald, is this true? Yes, Your Highness, I'm afraid it is. As I devoted all my attention to developing the talents of my students, I fear I neglected their moral development, and this led to tragic results. But with all due respect to Headmaster Guitarin, I don't believe in incorrigible villainy, especially not at such a young age. Sheldon teaches us not to renounce those who stumble, but to give them a chance to reform. I've traveled to your lands in hopes of a new beginning, for my student and for myself. How much of what you and Lindsay wrote about the Academy is actually true? There's no direct lie. I admit that in some cases I may have concealed or misrepresented some details to protect the innocent, but believe me, it was with noble intentions. Irovetti's atrocities are no secret to anyone, and this book may well bring about the fall of a tyrant. But I cannot allow the Academy to perish alongside Irovetti. There are too many innocents, wonderful artists, poets, and composers who have been tainted by Irovetti's crimes against their will. They stand to lose everything if we publish the truth in its entirety. So, to put things simply, the book's full of lies, isn't it? Your innocent colleagues all pander to Irovetti, and you want to shift all the blame onto him alone so they all come out clean. What I want is to protect the little good that King Irovetti brought into this world. The Academy is more than just wrongdoings and bullying. It's made up of many brilliant artists who have the potential to change the world for the better. Should we freely trample flowers just for happening to grow out of a muck heap? Lindsay, what do you think? I don't know. Teacher, you told me so many times that the world isn't made of things, it's made of stories. And we ourselves are made of the stories we tell and believe. But shouldn't those stories also be true? You said that people are essentially animals who love stories. Did you really mean that people are just lying beasts? Well, what is the truth then? A precise statement of past events? We're not newshawks or historians, bound to precision for the sake of precision. A bard must take into consideration how her story will affect her audience. Truth and fiction are our materials. They're as valuable to us as rough marble to a sculptor. The very same story used to evoke anger, envy, or fear can be turned to inspire bravery, love, and hope. Both versions told in full truth. The events at the base of the story aren't what's important. What's important is the lesson your listeners take from it. I don't know what to do. I want to burn the manuscript, start over and write the whole dirty truth about the Academy, but maybe teacher is right, and that would be a horrible mistake. Maybe saving the good at the Academy brings is more important than punishing everyone who's guilty. Yeah, we should protect the people. Well, I guess so. Who walks without sin, after all? If we were to suddenly learn the truth behind all our favorite poets, writers, artists, it'd probably ruin all their work for us. Now that's true vandalism. Fine, teacher. We'll finish the book as you planned it. But promise me you'll tell me the truth without omissions. If a bard's calling requires knowing the truth and keeping silent about it, then I at least want to carry this burden with you. Thank you, Lindsay. I promise. You'll know everything. We'll make the Academy better. You'll see. And you. Pack and leave. No, don't say a single word. I have no interest in your excuses or apologies. I just never want to see you again. Alandi shuts his mouth, swallowing his response before it started. With a single nod, he leaves without saying a word. I won't take much of your time, Titus. I've been meaning to ask you about something. This might seem stupid, or arrogant, or just insolent. I want to talk to you. I think you know what it's about. It's what I've done, and what I haven't done. But let's speak in private, far from curious ears. I'll be at the viewing point, in the palace garden. Please come as soon as you can. I have no idea where that is. Whoa. At least we can take a nap and begin dealing with things. Wait, why? I dealt with the thing.
Without a doubt.
Remember those books from Maestro Genosha's study? We'd hoped to find something about her past in them. Well, we did, and I'm kind of sorry we looked. We actually found something, but it's a sensitive conversation. We'll wait for you in the palace garden, near the viewing point. Alright, I definitely have to find this place now. Okay, well, someone needs to stop whatever they're doing and deal with that. Okay, impassable thickets full of poisonous plants and dangerous creatures have sprung up overnight, but the kingdom managed to persevere and enjoys peace once again. It's so hard to raise the espionage stat. Let's see. Got a good number of things going on at the same time still. But we can set the warden to something. I'll just set him back to the same thing. And then see what my companions want to do. Where that garden viewing point is.
I will guide us.
Oh, I've got some doodads for storyteller. Yeah, didn't have much.
Our path leads on.
Gunkar stands beneath a tree, gloomily looking down on the city below. Ah, there you are. Well, we found my tribe. Now we just have to have ourselves a friendly chat. What about Octavia? Did you learn anything about her family? We did. Turns out she's... no, I'm shutting up. That's her news to tell you. How'd you end up figuring it all out? Oh, that's another story entirely. We looked through Janusha's book for a while, found where he brought us from, who helped him. We got all we could from them, but checking up on the information would have meant traveling all across Numeria and half the river kingdoms. As you might recall, it wasn't exactly quiet here at the time. Not that it ever is, right? Nah. You know, we'd never leave you to clean a mess like that yourself. We ended up hiring a pretty brave crew headed by a good scout. We can't do everything ourselves, right? They pulled some strings, followed some leads, and figured out everything for us. Well, almost everything. The most important parts, Octavia and I will find out for ourselves when we pay our families a visit. Are you looking for revenge? Not sure what I want yet. Maybe, maybe not. Might be enough just looking at these freaks to be sure nature's punished them well enough without me. I'm really just looking for some closure, that's all. So who's your tribe? The sewer rats. Wait, no, that's not it. The crab lice? The threadbare moles? Man, I just can't seem to remember. Alright, the dung pigs. Fine, fine. They call themselves the Sharp Fangs, and for good reason. He grins, displaying his teeth. They have kids with orcs to strengthen their blood. Not bad, huh? They breed themselves like pedigree cattle. So I've really been sold twice. First by my orc sow of a mother who took some gold to push me and my brother out, never to see us again. Then my father chose which of us to keep and which to sell to the slavers. Treated like an animal my whole life. I'm surprised I'm not barking on all fours. They tried to turn you into an animal, but you kept your humanity. That's something to be proud of. Ha, true. You just can't break Ragongar. Alright, let's go meet your tribe. Octavia pensively fiddles with a small metal trinket while she waits. It takes a moment for her to notice you as you approach. Oh, hi. It seems we haven't been properly introduced. Allow me. Octavia della Fiorni. Heir to a noble title, a family manor, even a coat of arms with a motto. Wow. With a sad smile, Octavia shows you the trinket she was playing with. It's a fibula, decorated with a coat of arms, a butterfly and an arrow, and at the bottom you see the motto, Serve solely my conscience. Seems like someone didn't follow the motto very well when they sold her into slavery. What about Ragongar? Learn anything of his past? Yeah, it'll tell you himself. So you're from a noble family. I could hardly believe it myself, but there's no doubt. I'm the missing daughter of Marchioness della Fiorni. Missing, that's what they're calling it. How'd you discover all this? It took a lot of work. After going through Genosha's ledgers, not only did we find information about our purchase, we found a wealth of other data as well. Connections, suppliers, meeting places. But tracking it all down ourselves would have required a halt crossing. Yeah, we covered this. There isn't one, really. The Della Fiorno family was waiting before I was born. My mother's the last one. She's living in Pitax in a small townhouse. I'm going to pay her a visit, and I'd like you to accompany me. Alright, I'll travel with you. Thank you. It means a lot to me. Seems like we're going to have a lot resolved in Pitax.
Without a doubt.
Here, what about you, Tristan? You've come. You notice he's holding something in his hands. It's so strange. I don't know if I should be glad or frightened. Anyway, thank you for finding some time for me. He turns his head. If it weren't for his blind eyes, you would imagine he's looking into the distance. Since you freed me from Nerissa's power, I've had to think. Oh, I like this tune. I think I might just let you guys read this while I read along. Okay, so we got to deal with a angry cult that we've already sort of dealt with, and maybe meet up with Ragongar's tribe. Octavia's family will have to wait until we're allowed to enter Pitax. I should probably be a little more critical with all the junk I let sit in my inventory, but I always had a hard time letting go of little trinkets and doodads. Individually, they're not very heavy. Okay, yeah, we gotta talk to Amiri in the tavern. Remember that evil spirit who haunted the Six Bears? The one we drove away? Well, don't think I'm crazy, but he visited me in a dream. Says I'm a thief because I stole his sword. Remember? That big one? Armag broke it. Also, says he has all my tribe as hostages. All of them. Nilak too. Says they'll be dead if I don't return the sword. And I mean, it's not even a good sword. If every spirit chased me, of all the people I'd stole their swords off of, it'd be worse than fighting Psycho Mantis in Metal Gear. Did you really steal that sword from a giant? Well, no need to lie now. I found it. I lied to everyone I took it in battle, but the giant was dead for a long time. How could I know he would want this old piece of iron back? Does he know that the sword is broken? He knows. I saved the hilt. The ghost tells me to forge a new blade. He even said how to do it. There's a whole ritual. Where is he keeping your tribe? He said, first I have to fix the sword, and then he'll tell me where my tribe is. I'll see what I can do. I understand. The repair will cost a lot. I never held no such money in my hands, but Nilak, it wasn't even magical. What the fuck is important about this sword? Miri's the only one I deliberately gave her a different weapon to use. A 100 BP. Jeez. Of course no one has time for it. Okay. Let's rank up someone. Good. Okay. then we'll have time for it. Okay, treasure wants to talk to me. Another visitor wants to talk to me. Okay. Let's talk to people and see what's up. Your citizens are grateful to you, Titus. Thanks to you, their pockets are filled. Strange that it's not me, they're thinking. Now that you're a true king, why don't we start producing coins with your face on them? For the record, this is the way for us to get your own currency at our disposal, which will have a positive impact on the market due to inflation. You're not listening to me, are you? I'll put it simply. Producing coins does have a price, but it will pay off over time. Alright, cool. Everything is already in motion. Your decision was so obvious that it hadn't even occurred to me to delay the preparations. Jubilast is so good at his job. No matter what curses the denizens of the First World cast upon you, no matter what cruel tactics they use, you repel them all with valor. Bravo, Your Highness. Accept this humble gift as a sign of gratitude from your subjects. Whatever Nerissa has planned, I'm sure we can handle it. Each of her attacks is stronger than the last, but we're getting stronger too. In any case, it won't be long. Why do you think the attacks keep getting more dangerous? I think Nerissa has been playing with us. If she attacked at full strength a few years ago, when the barony of the Freelands was still in its cradle, we couldn't possibly have endured. I bet she still needed to keep us alive for something. But now that we've lost our usefulness, she's decided to finish us off. I have a different theory. This curse from Bald Hilltop is an unstable portal, a bridge between Galarian and the First World. And the more it's used, the more firmly anchored it becomes, which allows Nerissa to send through more and more powerful armies. I think both of you are right. The stability of the portal does play an important role in increasing the power of Nerissa's attacks. However, it is true that she allowed the barony of the Freelands to get on its feet, at least when it was newly formed. Yeah, can we attack Nerissa? Alas, not yet. The passage between worlds is not reliable. We can't be sure of where it will take us, or if it will activate at all. Such is the nature of unstable First World portals. Such a portal is unreliable even for denizens of the First World. We only see a small portion of the hordes that Nerissa sends through the portal to attack us. Nerissa doesn't care what happens to the countless who go missing. However, with each attack the portal becomes more and more stable. I'd imagine that soon the passage will become a steady bridge between Galarian and the First World. We only need to wait for that moment to attack. Alright, her next assault should be especially dangerous. We'll prepare well. Just let her try to come at us again. We'll beat her back to where she came from. I'll cap our victory by writing a song about her. A really funny and embarrassing one. Everyone in the First World will be singing it for her. That's pretty great.
Forwards.
Alright. Thingies. Random treasure. Okay, Knock Knock wanted to talk. And if I move this key along... Where did my key even get to? Here it is. Yeah, charge is 12 now. Knock Knock's hard in thought. One of his ears is even twitching slightly at the effort. Is something wrong? Been thinking about being a hero, if Knock Knock can even be a hero or not. You are Longshanks and Halfshanks, who speak poorly, mingle words, baths, he gestures around. But you make big tribe, found nation, build big city, even if city smells bad. Do great things, and Knock Knock does things, and they seem small, ridiculous. I want to do what you do, but asking, how? You could do something else. Every challenge you faced wasn't won with a blade, it was won by who you are, and, well, making others laugh. Knock Knock looks downcast, his face uncertain. He stares at the ground, and despite your encouragement, he seems defeated. Useless. Couldn't make a difference. All of them laughed at me trying to be a hero. Why not embrace it? If you can disarm problems with a trick and then have them laughing along with you, then you're more king than most. A king? But aren't you ruler? He pauses again and raises his finger. 2 rulers. Touches each finger as if trying to count, then gives up in disgust. 2 rulers would be bad. Well, let's call you by a different title, but no less important. You'll be the court's jester. Knock knock, jester. Knock knock. I will not fail you. You'd best not. We'll need your encouragement in the times ahead. Knock Knock nods, with a trace of pride and a grin you haven't seen before. He looks completely happy in his new role. You hope you don't regret this. Are all the Lamashtu shrines down? All down. Easier to knock down than where to build up. I hope Mother not upset with me. With us. If so, worry beast will find us. Yep, looks like he's finished. A true hero. After defeating the vicious Bargeist who took the form of the late Goblin King, Knock Knock seemed to find his own way of being a hero. Not in a form he sought to be, but in being loyal to Titus and his kingdom. I must admit that while his attitude didn't change much, Knock Knock has grown. I'm ready to trust him watching my back in fights, knowing that he'll be there when we need him. Pretty great. Oh yeah, level 10 Arcane Trickster. This is what I'm talking about. Now all of her attacks also apply sneak attack. All of her spells, I mean. That means yes, Chain Lightning can apply. Ooh, legendary proportions. Ooh. +6 size bonus to strength. +4 size bonus to its constitution score. +6 natural armor, DR10 adamantine. Jesus. So many spells. Yeah, Dragon Form 2 is pretty impressive. Ah, this protects them from my own fire spells. So it's basically either Prismatic Spray or Firebrand. But Firebrand lets me really abuse fireballs, so we're gonna go with that. Now I need Octavia to learn Heightened Spell and maybe Empower. She is using a dagger right now, but I plan on moving her back to a longsword. It's just hurting people's willpower with a dagger is kind of neato.
much ahead.
Yeah, we'll do Tristan stuff later. But, alright. We'll get to all of that later. I'm gonna call the episode here for now. I had fun. Hope you guys did too. Be good.